So I was about ready to go out the door to the convenience store for a little bit of an 8 o'clock at night snack of some kind. And I was checking comments, and I gotta say something. This is not going to be as thorough as what I would like it to be, but I have to say something. Objective morality is normally given to people in either the version of because God said so, sort of a thing, because it's in this book and that's what the book says. That's one brand. And then the other brand, it seems from me anyway, and the reason I'm making this video is that morality is like there to limit suffering. That life is suffering and morality is the answer to that dilemma. It's almost as if morality, objective morality, is like this big cosmic group hug. Group hug everyone, group hug until one of us die, I guess, and then we shove them off because that's gross. But, we're here, we're suffering, let's all just get along because it's shit. And we might as well not make it any shittier than what it has to be. No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. What I rather do is I approach it from the basis of axioms that people have a hard time arguing with. You guys like Hume. I don't like Hume, but most of you like Hume. And it was Hume that said, I should have had this pulled up because I'm not going to quote this right and someone's going to get pissy with me. But it was Hume that said the reason you believe something is because you can't come up with a good counter to that opinion, to that statement. That you say, X is true. The only reason you accept a statement like that is because you can't think of any alternative explanation. That you can't make it go away. You can't debunk it in some way. You can't rationalize it away, whatever the case may be. And so how I approach the subject anyway is to begin with axioms. Now, axioms are not just, there's another word for it that most people think when you think axiom, but an axiom is a self-evident statement, like man is aware. We can know this. It is self-evident because we're considering the validity of that claim. We couldn't do that without. We can also say that man thinks. Also, if we were to consider the validity or invalidity of that claim, we have to believe that man can think. And we can say also that man can come to a conclusion, since the point of all this is to come to the conclusion as to whether or not it is valid to think that any of these axioms are self-evident. And then finally we come to the point where we can say that the conclusions can be true or false. Next, we can say that man has needs. We say, well, would anyone like to say no, man has no needs? Man has needs. Or the thing dies, right? So you got needs. And this is where the suffering bit works into this. I think the suffering perspective, it needs to be addressed. It's just not from that basis is objective morality found, but we can see it's subsumed in this angle that I'm proposing to you guys. Man has needs, and we can talk about his needs in lieu of his suffering, in avoiding suffering, and so on. And that's all fine. But grant me at least the wording that man has needs. And then also grant me the axiom that man acts on behalf of himself, or whatever, acts to fulfill his needs. So far, so good, I would hope anyway. And then we say that man can act from the conclusions that he thinks about. I call it deliberation. That's deliberation, is an action as the result of a conclusion that you came to in your mind through some kind of syllogism that was either very explicit and clear in your mind or something more subliminal. But anyway, it is a conclusion that comes to you in your mind that serves as the basis of an action. And you do that to fulfill some kind of need. If you're good with that, then you're also good with the idea that you can make an action based on a true or false conclusion. Okay? Now, you can also grant me, you see, some people say, no, there are no self-evident axioms. That's all I've been spouting off all over the place. Do any of you disagree with these? Some of you will try, some of you will give me a pissing match about it too. But these are not difficult to accept. in addition to all that, if we can accept the idea that man can act from these conclusions, and therefore he can act from true conclusions and false conclusions, we can also say that man can enlist the aid of another man to fulfill his own needs. Anyone like to say, no, that's not possible? No, it is possible. Of course you can. I can ask you to do something for me. You can ask me to do something for you. But at the same time, we have, in asking, in enlisting the help, or in appealing for the help of others, when that other is a human being, we recognize that human being the same way that we would recognize ourselves, as being a person that has needs, and that acts to fulfill those needs. The last axiom that we have to come to, as far as I can see it, is that the priority of any one person's needs is not above nor below anyone else's. In the past, I've made this argument, and they've made real creepy utilitarian sorts of arguments that, like, well, you know, if you're in a plane and you had the choice between killing, I mean, that's how they all end. Someone's going to die. You have one parachute, 3 people. You have an old man that's about to die, a young, healthy, sexually active male, to imply this sort of Darwinian sense of, I don't know, proper action. It's twisted, it's evil. Or you have an infant. Who do you give the parachute to? And it is shit. It is shit. That was a Floridian. God, I can't speak sometimes. The point is this, that nobody's needs, the pursuit, we all pursue our needs. We all are pursuing our needs. Your pursuit has no priority over mine. We're all individuals, you see. We all are after our needs. And if I'm going to enlist your help in such a way that it keeps you from pursuing your needs, then I have incurred a debt of service. If I am to maintain that debt of service indefinitely, it is to act on the assumption that the priority of your needs are below the priority of mine, which is not true. And merely from it not being true, we have come to an immoral action. And that's all there is to it. You know, you say, like, well, we can all agree that it's bad to kill people. No. Come at it from a completely different angle. I'm saying it's bad to kill people because that is indefinitely ending someone's, take abortion. Talk about, you know, my needs over yours. If, you know, consider the person who is developing. They have needs. Those needs are on equal par, or the pursuit, rather, of those needs are on equal par with anyone else's. And for me, say the boyfriend has said, I have a girlfriend, got her pregnant. I said, no, we got to abort just got to abort it. You know, we don't need this in our life. This is too much of a hindrance. That is assuming that our pursuit of needs takes precedence over the person who is developing, which is not true. And it's for that reason that abortion is objectively immoral always and forever. That's the same way for killing in any way. Theft, rape, you name it. It all comes under this. All of it. But you have to approach it from a completely new angle. At first it's a little scary because you're like, no, this is weird. But then you work with it for a minute and you see all your old friends. Hey, you know, it's like, it's bad to kill. You're around, man. Where have I seen you? And it's bad to rape and bad to theft. Guys, you're all here. God, I didn't think I would ever see you again. Axioms of the human condition. Self-evident axioms of the human condition. That's where it lies. And my God, if I had one wish to grant, it would be that people see that. Because as soon as this is acknowledged, tremendous positive change can befall a civilization. Tremendous positive change could befall even an individual in his own life, where you think of things in these terms. You'll be a moral individual. objectively so. But it also gives you an incredible amount of responsibility, because the recipe for immorality, the cookbook for evil, is always available to you. You can't make it go away because the devil made you do it, or because that would just be authoritatively disambiguating something. I call it authoritative ambiguation of something that is not ambiguous, just to be a scapegoat of personal responsibility. Well, I'm going to go buy some onigiri.